Hey everybody, back in the shop. Today I'm working on an Emperor's Champion. This is a just single figure, nothing else, for one of my regular clients. And I've already gotten a little work done earlier in the week. I came in and cracked him open and assessed the situation. This is a fine cast model, so you can never be too sure how much work they're going to be. But this is actually, as far as fine cast models go, pretty nice. There was a small void at the bottom of his tabard, a small void on one of his feet, and neither of which was particularly visible. And then the rest of it was, your standard mold line, which is pretty fine. It's not terribly pronounced. So I just went over the whole thing, the whole mold line area and the voids with some liquid green stuff. And now I'm going to finish prepping it for paint. I also started his base, which is going to be, as you can see, cork based, which is, it's a really nice simple material to use for bases. You break it up on the edges and you end up with something that looks like rubble, and I may go back in later and do something else on there in terms of texture, but for now that's it. Strangely enough, this didn't have a backpack. So luckily I have about 100 of them, so I found one that looked pretty good and will fit well with the model, but I don't need to worry about that until later. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and what needs to be cleaned up. What I'm going to do now is finish the cleanup and make sure everything fits. I'm also going to clip the slot tab thing, slot base tab, that's what it is, and drill the foot because that's going to get set into the base and it doesn't need the slot to do it. There we go. Let's yeah, I suppose I could just gouge out a place for the slot or the tab. Slot is the hole, tab is the not hole. I might think about that, because that would provide a lot of support, and I could probably do that in the cork pretty easily. I might do that. And so let me go do those things, do the prep work. This is just going to be a little filing. There's still a little more filling that needs to happen on these voids because the liquid green stuff shrinks up. I might actually just go get myself some of my putty and throw it in there. They're big enough that that would work fine. And then I'm going to get to primering, which I'm going to probably use the airbrush, and I'm going to do it in, I think I'm going to do it in Panzer Gray. I've got a nice Panzer Gray airbrush primer that I can use on this. The Vallejo airbrush primers are really wonderful. So let me get started, and then I'll come back. So I got all my cleanup done, and now I'm going to see how the surface looks with a coat of primer. If there's anything that remains to be filled or cleaned or filed down, I'll see it now. And so far so good. I did end up using the tab on the figure instead of cutting it off. I just carved out a hole in the cork. And I'm priming this with gray because I want to be able to shade with black. Black is one of those colors I really kind of hate to paint. It seems like it's a lot more work than it seems like it should be. Alright, and there she is. And again, this is Vallejo Surface Primer, German Panzer Gray. And I've been using the Vallejo Surface Primers a lot more recently. I find that they hold really well, and they go on very thin. So you don't have to worry about your primer covering up detail. On the other hand, sometimes your primer, you kind of want it to fill in some of the defects, but I think I'm going to be good here. And as long as I'm doing this, I might as well hit the base. That is good for now. Yeah, so I'm gonna let this dry, and I'm gonna then assess the model and see what starts the paint off first. It's either gonna be the shoulder pad or the tabard, because those need to get some light colors on there. I might actually wait. I don't know. We'll see. This is always sort of an exploration. An experiment. Okay, I'll see you in a bit. So I blocked in some colors. I got lead belcher on everything that's going to be silver. This is Vallejo Somber Gray, which is the old Shadow Gray, Citadel Shadow Gray. Oops. And Mornfang Brown on the tabard. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to wash. I created a wash using my airbrush medium, a little bit of Flow Aid, and then well, a really huge dollop of black paint that came out of my tube. And I made this wash, and I'm going to go over the Panzer Gray to bring it down some, and that's going to shade the recesses and provide some overall depth to the color. Now I'm probably going to have to go back in and clean up some of the areas where the colors touch, but that's okay. I was expecting that. And I am just washing right over the lead belcher as well. I'm totally okay with that getting on there. This is just an old Vallejo, I forget what they're called. Anyway, it's a nylon brush. I like nylon for certain things, particularly dry brushing. They're really nice for dry brushing, and you know, when you have a brand new nylon brush, they work really good for a short period of time, and then they curl and become unusable for doing fine work. But I find them to be really good sort of workhorse brushes. I use them for mixing paint, and I use them for dry brushing, and I'm using it here for washing. And they're cheap, so that's nice. Alright. Just about done, I think. Alright, and now I'm going to let that dry. And then I'm going to start working on bringing the colors forward. So I've gone ahead and done some edge highlighting. And I also, I used the same color initially that I used on the shoulder pad here and on the eagle, and that's that shadow gray or somber gray from Vallejo. And then I mixed up a batch with a mix of the wolf gray and the somber gray to do a little bit brighter highlight, and I'm going to be using that to also as my next step both on both shoulder pads for highlighting that. I also dropped some of the lighter color in the eyes just as a base to start with, because those are going to be red, and red's a pain in the butt to do over black, so you want to put something brighter there to get it started. I got a little bit of brown down in here. This is the Mornfang brown, and then I dropped some brass balls from P3 into the lettering here on both sides. Oh, perfect. So both sides got that. And I'm not sure how I'm going to finish off the sword, but we'll get there. Anyway, I'm about to go and do the next highlight on the shoulder pads, so I'm going to go do that and maybe do some more stuff, and then I'll be back. Well, I've been busy. As you can see, I did some highlighting on the sword. I really wanted to keep it black. I like the idea of a black sword, but I gave it a bit of life, both sides. And you can see the shoulder pads have gotten their highlighting. That side's ready for a decal. I think I have a decal that I'm going to use on there. I gotta go dig it out though. What else? Oh, I finished up the eyes. I don't know if you can really see that. And I've been, and the tabard, of course. I've been layering that over and over. Beginning with Carrick stone, and then Ushabti bone, and then mixtures of Ushabti with white to bring it up and make it brighter, and get my various levels of brightness there, and then going back and just doing touch-up and stuff. And I'm gonna, let me see, at this point I am going to do the that thingy, and I got another one of them thingies on the backpack, and actually haven't painted the haven't painted the backpack at all, So I need to do that. And I've got a sidearm here somewhere that doesn't even have primer on it. There it is. That thing doesn't even have primer on it yet, but we will get to that. But it's really coming along, as you can see. So I'm going to do some of those little things, and then I'm going to I've got to do some silver tips on the laurels, and then other areas where there's silver I got to do that. And I've got some gems and rivets and all kinds of things to do yet, and I'm gonna go get to it. So I'll be back in a bit. Well, I had a lot of things going on since we last spoke. Did all the gems, and you know, the really nice thing is I think they all came out really quite good, and it's something that I sometimes have trouble with, and I'm not sure why. It always seems like such a simple thing, and for some reason I'm never happy with it, but they all came out quite nice. Even the one on the sword, I'm really kind of happy with that too. And then I went through and did the base, and that's really a whole bunch of different weathering powders. And the reason I did the weathering powders is that they always have a really nice natural look to them when they're done. It looks like nice concrete, which is kind of what I wanted, so I got what I wanted. I got the backpack on there, got the backpack painted. I'm going to put something on the little banner back there, but I think I might wait until later. I need to go look for my decals because I want to be able to do that. Oh, and I got a touch up to do right there. You can probably see that. But it's really close, really close. And this hasn't even been a full day for me today. It's I had to take a break and go out and pick up some parts for my four-wheeler, which is in need of some loving care. And took a little break to play some World of Tanks, which is something that I do in my free time. And so yeah, it's been kind of a leisurely day. Beautiful day out. But I'm going to go and see if I can dig up those decals, and maybe I will work on that if I can find them. And then I'll come back. Well, I couldn't find the decals. I don't remember where I put them, so I did it by hand. There's the little one in front, and there's the shoulder pad. So at this point, I need to go clear coat this, and I can call it done. Pretty happy with how it turned out overall. Still waiting on the glue on the backpack to dry. It keeps wanting to come undone. Sometimes I just use tacky glue instead of super glue because it's a little bit more forgiving, and that's what I did in this case. And the only downside is, of course, that it takes a while to dry. So, but otherwise, it's done. I'm gonna probably get some pictures of it tomorrow, so those will go up onto the Flickr site. But yeah, so there it is, all done, all in one day, and that's it for now. So thanks for watching. Feel free to like this video if you like this video. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. I do these videos every week, more or less, most of the time. That's it. I'll talk to you later.